Hello, I am Bogoan Kim, and I'm honored to present our paper titled RoutineAid, Externalizing Key Design Elements to Support Daily Routines of Individuals with Autism. Before diving into the paper presentation, I will briefly introduce the research background of RoutineAid. Due to the COVID-19 outbreak, all of us were experiencing greater difficulty in maintaining our physical and emotional well-being, and these changes caused somewhat disrupted routines. Disrupted routines elicit major emotional and behavioral challenges, and government agencies supported only 28% of people with severe disabilities and only 1% in low-income countries. When it comes to the autism population during the pandemic, autism-specific guidance is critically needed. However, the regular care system is not sufficient to meet the needs of the autism community. To identify challenges relevant to daily routine management, we conducted a formative study of 15 autism stakeholders, including autism professionals, parents of autistic individuals, and autistic adults. The identified three challenges are as follows. First, autistic individuals have been facing amplified anxiety due to a broken routine. Second, they have insufficient support to balance key components of daily routines such as physical activities, eating habits, mindfulness, and sleep. Finally, they have frequent difficulties in planning concrete and actionable measures to sustain routines. Based on those challenges, we formulated three design goals. First, provide opportunities to explore and plan appropriate life rhythms with visual narratives. Second, provide opportunities to achieve sustainable key daily routine management. And lastly, provide opportunities to explore actionable daily routine planning. With those design goals, we developed RoutineAid, a gamified smartphone app designed to break down daily routines into smaller steps and celebrate the accomplishment of each. This figure shows the progress levels in RoutineAid. Users can experience building upgrades and item acquisition as they establish and maintain self-directed routine structures. And the obtained items are presented as animated actions of characters. In RoutineAid, we supported the management of the 4 key routine properties. These properties are mapped to 4 villages, each of which consists of 4 routine quests, 1 key routine quest, and 3 secondary routine quests. Users can perform 4 key daily routines to upgrade the building of each village. All buildings can be upgraded from level 1 to 5. And users can perform 3 secondary routine quests to acquire items presented with the village character on the main screen. Additionally, users can generate up to 2 secondary routine quests per village by themselves. Users had a tendency to use those quests to either set their own regular activities or cope with new behavioral goals. In addition, daily routine logs called routine diary are offered to facilitate user self-reflection. As shown in the left figure, users can check the completion status of routine quests through the routine checklist, and RoutineAid provides routine checklist responses through the routine diary. Also, the reader board plays a similar role in the RoutineAid. Sometimes before the ranks and scores were reflected, the users experienced the developed villages and new items with vibrant visual and sound effect. So, with the RoutineAid's gameplay, users are expected to be able to independently manage their routines and know the essential components of their own healthy life patterns. To examine how user perception and management of their routine would be affected by using RoutineAid, we conducted a field study for 2 months. During the 2-month study, the participants used RoutineAid and joined in 3 one-to-one face-to-face sessions, 1 pre-study introductory session, and 2 review sessions. In the pre-study introductory session, we introduced the purpose and process of the study, did an online survey, and filled out the usage plan table. By filling out the usage plan table, the participants specify how to perform each routine quest or timeline, such as wake up or sleep time and the number of meal times a day. In review session, we conducted interviews to gather the participant feedback on RoutineAid and changes in their routine management and perception. We also reviewed their app usage status as well. Then we asked for opinions from the secondary autism stakeholders. The purpose of the interviews with 2 stakeholders was not to evaluate the participants' perception or use of RoutineAid, but to understand and corroborate it from more diverse angles. We demonstrate the feasibility of RoutineAid in managing routine by autistic individuals from a 2-month field study, operationalized by several findings. First, RoutineAid self-reporting encourages participants to comprehensively self-aware of themselves. Like the left figures, it was pretty impressive to see that the participant actively employed self-reports of each routine to observe their daily routines. They responded to self-reports of routine quests 781 times on average for 2 months and about 13 times on average per day. The participants commented that the detailed guidance for goal setting and self-reporting provided in the introductory session worked well, and highlighted that such a process was necessary for them to have better understanding of their daily routine patterns. And RoutineAid's Mind Diary encouraged the participant to organize their thoughts and express their personal feelings. Writing a mind diary is the key routine quest of Mindfulness Village. The participant engaged in writing a mind diary. They responded more than 50 times, which is about 82%. Also, as shown in the figure, they wrote a mind diary with an average of about 62 words per day. The participants mentioned that they used the mind diary as a tool for expressing and reflecting on their emotions and experiences. In addition to predefined secondary routine quests, as shown in the left figure, the participant actively employed the user-generated secondary routine quests, which gave them more flexibility in managing their routines. We found they used those quests to either set their own regular activities or cope with new behavior goals. For instance, having a cup of mocha frappe only 3 times a week. Like the quote on the left, many participants attempted to achieve the new behavioral goals that they judged as obstacles to their healthy daily routine formation. Also, the participant established an elaborate routine for effective micro-planning. The interesting point is the participant performed the routine quests according to their own rules and recorded what they performed very specifically. For example, writing an exception for skipping a routine or YouTube clip name they usually listen to fall asleep. Lastly, the participant maintained daily routines through celebratory interactions. Participants mentioned 2 key factors that made this possible. The first factor is main screen. Among many UIs and functions of RoutineAid, the main screen displays the status of villages at a glance, and participants mentioned it as the most engaging page, receiving many positive user experiences. The other factor is gamification features and visual narratives. The participants were actively engaged in the ranking competition and were conscious of other users on the leaderboard. Also, as we expected, the participant reported RoutineAid's visual narrative with buildings and items had a positive impact on immersion and familiarity of gameplay. With those 2 factors, as we can see from the right figure, they show sustainable usage of the app during the field study. From the findings of 2 months field study, we reported some design implications. First, to increase the system adaptability, routine quests can also be designed and provided considering user progress, preferences, and context. Second, we need to balance self-directed behaviors and expert regular intervention for long-term routine management. Third, we leverage visual elements of the main screen to trigger enhanced user engagement. Fourth, during the field study, the participants continued to keep track of the scores and rankings in the leaderboard and actively participated in the competition. They also paid close attention to the scoring mechanism, so it will be worth considering providing additional information about other users' participation and use history while preserving their privacy. Fifth, visual support considering loss aversion. Lastly, possible data use in clinical settings and privacy concerns. We noticed the tension between the desires of caregivers and those of participants with regard to data sharing. So in order to have RoutineAid's data employed in clinical settings, privacy issues of personal data must be considered first. Thank you.